Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Bridget Ekpo. Thank you very much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, there's the red button down there. Please click on the subscription button and also click on the bell sign so you get notification whenever I post my vlog. So some update from Linda Ikeji. She took to her Instagram page this morning and posted these pictures of herself and her son, who is 3 months old, and she said, "Meet my son Jace, and yes, Sholaye Jeremi is his dad." And then she went on to say in her blog that she had her son Jay 2 days before her 38th birthday, and she went on to narrate why she's sharing the story. Particularly, she was concerned about the girls that she mentored. She said, "I'm sharing details about my personal life, mostly because of the girls who look up to me, the girls I have mentoring right now and plan to mentor in the future. I'm very particular about our young girls, and I have personally tried over the years to be an example in some way. I try to teach these girls how to fight for their dreams, how to live right, and how to do right. And then I go and have a child out of wedlock. And that must be a little confusing to some of them, and especially with so many untruthful stuff out there about me. And the most hilarious is that I had a child for a married man. And here is my answer to that. The married man that I will sleep with has not been born yet." Then she went on to say that the father of her child is a single man and his name is Sholaye Jeremi. To be honest, at some point she thought it was her final bus stop, but life happens. Unfortunately, they are a completely closed chapter. Sadly for their son Jace, is the kind of chapter that can't ever be opened again. And then she went on to talk to explain how she met Sholaye, which she met him 3 years ago in a restaurant in Ikeji, and that's 2015, shortly after she moved to Banana Island in Ikeji. And she said it was when she met Sholaye, he claimed at that time that I had never heard of me, which was seriously a turn on for me, because up till then, every man she's met behaved like a fan. So when she met him, she was 35 and he was 37, and she's been single, and she had been single for 4 years, searching for love, and almost immediately they became an item. And she went on to say that when she met Sholaye, he lived in a 3-bedroom flat at that time. And she described where it was around Lekki, and then she used to drive 2 hours to go and meet him in the house and do her work in her laptop so that she can work there. She'll take her laptop so she can work there and spend the whole day with him. That it was a romance that was like a whirlwind. Later, her public life became a problem for him, that he claimed that he's very private businessman and he didn't want the attention, that she being in the public eye will bring to him. And she said she understood. He broke up with her, and then they came back, and then they broke up, and then they came back. So Linda is basically saying here that, they were separated but stayed in touch, and he was one that kept coming for her. And the reason why she kept going back to him, was because she couldn't find somebody else. Yes, she said, so I was basically going back to my ex because I couldn't find anyone else. And then she became pregnant. And she said, when I became pregnant, it just happened. Though we talked about having a child together, just 2 months before I fell pregnant. He said something about putting a billionaire baby inside me, and I remember jokingly telling him that I'm also a billionaire. So our child was going to be a billionaire on both sides, and we laughed. But after she fell pregnant, things became extremely weird between them, and it was confusing. They went from talking about pregnancy and being okay with it, and he even suggested that she goes to Dubai for her prenatals, as he didn't trust doctors in Nigeria, to literally not talking to each other. Linda Ikeji said, around when I was 3 months pregnant, he did come to see my parents and actually become very cool with my dad. They were literally exchanging WhatsApp message every day. He agreed to a traditional wedding, which he didn't follow through, and then he switched. He began to treat me with so much hate and aggression, and that I and my family had to cut him off completely. The funny thing about this narration is that you guys remember that before Linda Ikeji announced her pregnancy, shortly before she announced her pregnancy, her sister, Sandra Ikeji, announced on her Instagram that Linda was engaged. And what people believed at that time was that she was engaged before she announced her pregnancy. But reading this story, I can't see any mention of engagement. She did say that he came to see her dad, but she never mentioned any engagement. So I'm just wondering, where did that engagement ring? Where did it come from? I don't know. I'm just thinking loud here. Anyway, the reason why Linda basically shared this story is that she said, she's very happy. She's had a child. She's always wanted marriage. She's never been, she's never kept it secret that she wanted a family. She comes from a two-parent family, and family is the most important thing to her. And, Jace, her son, has brought her happiness, is giving her strength. And she went on to talk about how happy she's been since she had the baby. And she had no regret about meeting Sholaye. But there were some things she wanted to address, and that's why she wrestled with this story, whether to share it or not. But she made up her mind that she was going to share it eventually so she can correct some of the things that have been said about her. She said, being a single mother wasn't the dream I had for myself. I prayed for the kind of happy life my parents built for us, that they've been together for 40 years. Nothing is more important to her than family, but it didn't work out quite that way for her. You have no control over other people's actions. She now explained why she decided to share this story, which is because she wanted, to tell the truth, or she wanted to open up to her followers, especially her young followers who she mentors. And she said, but I knew without writing this, I could never stand in front of young girls who look up to me and talk to them again. I could never go on any secondary school tour and speak with these girls again about living right and doing right. I would always look like I have no moral right to do so. And then she said in 2017, she went to 15 secondary schools talking to these girls, young, impressionable girls about, this year she started to cancel the tour because she was pregnant. And then she hasn't made any preparations for next year because she wanted to sort things out first. Obviously, these girls look up to her, and being pregnant out of wedlock is something that in Nigeria, unfortunately, even today, is frowned at very seriously, especially for somebody that you look up to. People expect you to be married and, have a two-parent home before children are brought into this world. But then again, it happens. I mean, it's not like there are no single parents in Nigeria. I think the reason why people really came for Linda so much was because of what she stood for and what she had said herself. And, so people felt very disappointed because, it's like saying one thing and doing another thing. But then again, at the end of the day, she's an adult. She can make decisions about her life. And and like she explained, she had someone, it didn't work out, and she's had a baby. She's happy. He's the dad. He doesn't want to be in her life. They don't want to be together, and that's all right. But interestingly, Linda said in this article that she's not always been a relationship kind of girl. To explain myself to the young girls who look up to me and feel disappointed that I got pregnant and had a baby out of wedlock, for years I have preached decency, morality, and uprightness. And despite what happened to me, I meant it from the bottom of my heart. That should be the only way to live. That's the only way I live. Don't ever compromise your values with this. I was led by my heart and my clock tickling. And even though I had no regrets, I'm sorry if I let any of you ladies down by the decision I made. And I hope you learn from my experience. I hope you do better than I did. The ideal thing would be to find a man to love, who loves you back and gives you stability, get married, have kids, and raise a family, not being a single mom or a baby mama. I was 37 years. If I want to be honest, my age played a role in me allowing myself to be pregnant out of wedlock. I didn't want to be having kids in my 40s or struggling with fertility later in life. This wasn't the plan, but like I said before, life happens. You just have to find a way to make the best of what life throws at you. And so for any young girls, this means anything to. I'm truly sorry. I am not sorry I had Jace. I am just sorry I didn't go about it the right way. So this is what Linda Ikeji has said. She just cleared the air about the relationship she had with Jace. Jace's dad, or her ex-boyfriend, who she said they are no longer together and there's no going back. But interestingly, I mean, what is really interesting about this article written by Linda Ikeji, what is the fact that even for a very successful woman like Linda Ikeji, the pressure of marriage is right there. We all know it in Nigeria, in Africa. There's so much pressure about marriage. And even for successful, very successful people, successful ladies, it's even harder to find someone, unfortunately. And it's interesting for someone like Linda because she comes across as somebody who is very strong, hardworking, determined, and has her life all put together. But she said something here that, so I was basically going back to my ex because I couldn't find anyone else. That's kind of sad because from what she's narrated here, it's obvious the relationship was already shaking. The guy wasn't sure whether he wanted to marry her or not, and then she got pregnant, and then she kept going back to him because she couldn't find someone else, and actually got pregnant because she was afraid because of her age, that she was 37. 40 is that dreaded number that most women fear, that, oh, once I'm 40, I have to be married, I have to have a baby and all that, which, to be honest, I don't think women should actually fall into the wrong relationship or get pregnant for people who are not ready, who don't want them because they are desperate. Because from what Linda has written by her own hands, she's basically saying that she was desperate and actually got pregnant because she was afraid. She was aging, she was 37, and she couldn't find someone else. So that is desperation. And, for me personally, I don't actually believe that any woman should be desperate. At whatever age that you are, God's time is the best. So yeah, it shouldn't be, because at the end of the day now, when you have a baby with someone, whether you are together or not, it ties you with that person for the rest of your life. So people should not be desperate to get into a relationship for any reason or to have a child for any reason. That's just my own personal belief. And then Linda said, you know what, despite this crazy love experience, I still believe in love. I believe in happy endings, and I can't wait to one day, God's willing, have my fairy tale ending. The father of my child is the only man I've given a chance to in 6 years. And then she said, I swear, I'm not really a relationship kind of girl. I'm more a career girl. I can go for years without a man. I am one of those women who don't need a man to validate their existence. But Biko, I've done the single life enough. Biko, I've done the single life enough in the past. Going forward, I'm looking forward to giving someone else a chance and try this love thing again. I was raised in a 2 happy parents home, and that's what I want for Jace. So I hope I meet a great guy soon. Until then, I'm enjoying motherhood. It rocks. Life has never been more beautiful. I like the fact that she came clean, because there's no point doing all this career girl. You are doing career girl like you don't need a man. Then all of a sudden you find out that you are 37 years old. You are aging. There's no man. So it's good to be being a career girl, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't stop you from, having a man or from putting yourself out there. I know sometimes some career women feel like, they become vulnerable when they get into relationships, and they don't like that vulnerability that comes with falling in love and having a man. But at the end of the day, this is what you want. So why not? It's good to be vulnerable sometimes for the right reason. There's no guarantee in life. Whether it works or not, at least you have tried. So, Biko, don't just be doing career girl that you don't want a man. No. If you want a man, go out there and get it, and say it. Say it that you want it. Put yourself out there like Linda. Linda has told us now in this article. She said, I am done with the single life. She said, I've done the single life enough in the past. Going forward, she's looking forward to someone. Because she wants someone. She's confessed that she wants someone. She's happy to have someone. So yeah, I pray that she find what she's looking for. Having a child does not mean you can't have a man or you can't get married. And yeah, so we wish her the best. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it here today. Thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a fabulous weekend ahead. I love you. Bye-bye.
It's VQs.
Original Batman. Lego.